At this moment in time, it's safe to say that Xbox is leading PlayStation in multiplayer and live service offerings. Now, I think this is exactly maybe what PlayStation was referring to, or part of what they were referring to in the Insomniac leaks. Welcome to the Video Game Fight School channel. Thank you very much for tuning in. Since those leaks came out, there is nothing that could deter me from continuing to pose the question, what exactly does PlayStation have to offer anymore, seeing that a lot of what it is that they've actually held as the fortitude of their own gaming offerings are being matched by third-party developers. Single-player game, we got those. Third-person perspective, we got those. Action RPG, we got those. And when I say we got those, I'm talking about the third-party publishers that are bringing hits all over the place. In fact, most of these hits are competing against PlayStation's own games to win awards, to take sales from them, and some of them even have IPs to back them up. When I say this, I'm talking about games like Hogwarts Legacy. Even though it was ignored in the award ceremony, it took the highest sales in that year that it came out, beating Call of Duty, something that's not easy to achieve. When it comes to, say, a game like an action RPG, whatever you want to call it, look at a game like Elden Ring. Came out in the same year as Horizon Forbidden West. Beat a PlayStation game out of numerous thousands or even tens of millions in sales. So at the end of the day, even though Xbox has not been able to compete at this level and provide those things, they seemingly have been carefully building a library of multiplayer and live service games, and somewhere, somehow, they bought the biggest one on the planet, or they bought a few big ones on top of the biggest one on the planet. With the failure of Concord right now, it's almost unimaginable to think about what PlayStation is going to try to do to try to respond to their deficit in the market, having ignored their own audience for years to bring games like Killzone and some of the other shooters that were staples within the PlayStation category to try to at least compete with Call of Duty. But PlayStation was fat. They were apathetic and they didn't do anything. They were enjoying the Call of Duty money and hedging their bets on the exclusivity that they could get all those years. I made a list off the top of my head because I don't really play a lot of multiplayer and live service games. I'll play fighters, but I don't really play a lot of them. And I put here the catalog that I could think of from just the top of my head of games that you could play multiplayer or in some live service aspect that belongs to Xbox. I came up with Halo, Minecraft, Sea of Thieves, which is now playing on the PlayStation, Forza's, because it does have a multiplayer, State of Decay. Am I right? Is State of Decay a multiplayer game? Help me out, guys. Y'all are going to be the ones helping me with this. I only played the Division and Mortal Kombat and sports games. So, screw me. I know nothing about this niche, but I know that there's some interaction here. Diablo 4, Overwatch, Warcraft. Warcraft belongs to Activision, right? Yeah, it does. Age of Empires. There's a multiplayer on Age of Empires, right? If it's no, ding me on that one. Elder Scrolls Online and Call of Duty. When we look at the PlayStation side, all I can think about is Destiny 2 and nothing. Gran Turismo. Is that how you spell it? Turismo? Nothing comes to mind, really. And to me, I think this is basically one of the things that makes PlayStation run scared when it comes to the offering that they do not have in this category, which is a consistent money bringer. I think Xbox is very safe to launch games on PlayStation, regardless of what PlayStation tries to do or try to even money hack games. I think they've looked at their catalog and they're like, man, what are we even bothering ourselves for? We now have games. And man, I'm telling you, this Concord thing is a heavy blow to this particular company right now. I hate that games get taken away, but somebody called me out today. They said, bro, we know you feel for developers and such, but you do know that in the real world, when people do a bad job, they also lose their jobs. I do know that reality. It's a sad one, but it's a real reality. Square Enix tried to get into this space, and even they, with their Marvel Avengers game, lasted longer than Concord, and it still failed. Yet Xbox is still going, and just at a steady pace, is able to continue to keep consumers, in a sense, attentive to some of their titles. And some of them are big. I mean, did you guys look at the chart from a few weeks ago that I'd been showing y'all about what games are being played on these different platforms? Do y'all remember the chart? It's the chart that basically tells you the behavior of a lot of console players. It's this chart here. Call of Duty is on that chart, both on Xbox and PlayStation. And then somehow Minecraft made its way over there. So Minecraft is one of those kinds of games. PlayStation in this category, they're screwed, bro. They have to find a way to churn out money to be able to make their single player offerings, which have now grown more expensive, while at the same time losing all their exclusivity benefits that allowed for Call of Duty to sell more copies and more console on their platform, while at the same time Call of Duty is being offered to those on the Xbox platform at a measly subscription cost, all while taking a blow on one of their major live service games out there, while their would have been successful live service game Helldivers is taking a big, massive hit in terms of publicity right now. I told you that this company, greed, was something that knew no bounds with them. The simple reason they're facing this is just greed. They have what it takes to succeed. I see it all the time. And this is a scary reality that I've been talking about. Thankfully, there are third-party publishers that can still tamper Xbox for now in some categories in this whole place. Thankfully, but still, it's still kind of weird though that here we are. I don't want Xbox to dominate the market. Never wanted that. As a PC player, I know exactly what it means for them to have a good check and balance. But PlayStation seems to have considered this one area. Look at this. Most recent reviews for this game, 12,000 negative for Helldivers 2, a game that started out so well, so beloved. They need to ask their developers what's going on here. Now is not the time to play. The market is too volatile for fun and games. Ladies and gentlemen, I can tell you, man, that this is something that I did not want to see in this particular means and this particular way. But if PlayStation is not going to rise up to the occasion, of which they're already kind of behind the curve, I don't think there's anything that they can do. You see, what it was just a diversity in the library. That's all. Come and pick your poison, I guess. In the case of PlayStation, they're coming out with all these games that have no audience attached to them because they're all derivative of everything that already exists. There is no grounded, foundational stuff. There's nothing like even Age of Empires that you can even point to, which, many PlayStation players would be like, what's Age of Empires? Bro, if we look at the number of people playing Age of Empires on SteamDB, I'm sure we're probably not going to be too unimpressed, seeing that Concord could only muster less than 800 people, right? Age of Empires, SteamDB. Let's look at what it's looking like. Age of Empires 2, Definitive Edition. Let's look at the charts. Yeah. Are y'all seeing it here? Are y'all able to see it here? It is showing a peak, the 24-hour peak of about 17,000 players. All-time peak about 38,000 players. Concord would have been able to use these numbers. And the sales, look at the sales estimates. On the high side, about 5 million copies of Age of Empires Part 2 sold. And this is just Steam. This is not Game Pass. I know many people will yell and shout, Game Pass. This ain't Game Pass. This is Steam. This is another store for a game that most PlayStation players that chiming on this whole market will spit on because I don't want to play that. It's not my regular, third person, high texture, high fidelity, game, of which I'm one of those players, by the way, but I won't spit on Age of Empires, because I actually do know people that play it. I've never really been able to play more than 20 minutes. I was like, I don't know what's going on. This game is probably, maybe my brain can't fathom, a strategic game like that. So yeah, for those that were asking me, so what is Xbox leading in? Here's your answer. And this is not just a lead. This is a domination when you pit the two against each other. It's pure domination. Then there's Epic Games. That's a whole different category. All these others are different. And Valve and these companies have always kind of understood that you needed this churn coming in. PlayStation got too sleepy there. And then they try to pull their weight. Ooh. I can tell you Bobby got enough kahunas when he saw that PlayStation was goading him. That's why he walked up to Xbox Studios, I'm guessing, and said, we're going to take this game off of Xbox. Huh? It was at that moment. Let me hear your thoughts in the comment section. I'm shocked. I thought Age of Empires was going to have like 10,000, 5,000. It's 12,000 playing it right now. Yo, on a Tuesday evening. I mean, come on. I don't know, bro. PlayStation and this whole live service thing, they need to fine tune their strategy and go find a hardcore audience that will play a live service, like a real live service game. Not all this fluff that's going on. Before you tell me to come play a live service game, I better be, nah, man. This ain't it. Please. Thanks for watching. Peace out.